So, welcome to Deep Industrial Techno Transmission 00, which is going to be a series where I go from start to finish of my process of making a track. On the path, I will explain my thought process, some techniques, sound design techniques, what goes through my mind when I arrange the track, etc. So, let's get straight to it. So in techno, you could say the most important element is the kick. So let's start with that element. I already prepped a little bit, a little sketch, a little template to a template that I usually use, very minimalistic one. I'm going to aim for a very minimal track here, very deep. Okay, so let's start with the kick. Let me just turn off this. The kick is a very simple kick with a fundamental note on G0, okay? You can use whatever sample you like, okay? Okay, I want to add a distorted click here, so I put a sampler here with a 909 click layer, okay? And we're going here to the section of pitch / oscillation. We're gonna activate the oscillator, frequency oscillator, okay? Instead of fixed, now we are going to fix, we're going fixed, okay, let's hear it. We're making this layer so it has a very, like a high-end distorted sound, okay? Just find here, by the way, I just put an EQ8 on the kick and removed all side information because it had a bit of side information. Just let's check. Okay. So we're removing all side information. We want this kick to be completely mono. Why don't I I could use utility to make it mono, but I think this is better in my opinion. I can't really go into very technical details, but I just use this. It sounds better for me. Okay. So I like the base of the kick, the body, very short kick with the fundamental note on G0, which is probably my favorite note for the kick, G0 or F0. Okay. So now let's hear with the distorted click. It has that little top end. Okay. I like it. So let's hear the kick. We can put a drum bass on it. So it's more body, has more body, more punch. But don't let your ears fool you, because when something is louder, you'll think that it sounds better. It not necessarily sounds better. You need to adjust the output of the drum bass, okay? So it's the same as without the drum bass. So it's around 12 dB. You should aim for the kick to be at minus 12 dB on dB full scale. Because we want everything to be around the kick, and if you make the kick around minus 12 dB, we'll probably have some headroom for the master around minus 6 dBs, okay? So this, in terms of sound pressure, okay, it needs to be a little lower. Now there comes the decision, do I like it? I do. So let's keep the drum bass for now. Let's actually just up that. Okay, so for this track I want to make a very deep low end that's constant. I want a sub that is always present on the track to give that that rumble feeling, okay, in the dance floor. So let's design our sub, but before let's I'm happy with the kick. I don't really want to make anything else, I think. So I'm just going to process it to audio, okay? How do we process it to audio? We create an audio track, okay? Which is already here, so I'm just demonstrating it. We come here, audio from kick processing, okay? We turn off the monitor so it's not double kicking, okay? I have every faders is down except this, but I'll put it down as well and turn it off. I'll explain why later, okay? So let's start with kick, let's record. Okay, that's enough. Just want to make sure. I'm just checking if there's any sort of attack before the marker starts. If that happened, I would have to shift it a bit, okay, like this. But in this case, it starts in the spot. It's okay. Let's make a loop of 4 bars for now. Okay. Now let's disable this, okay, no input. Let's turn the kick processing off. We can always come back to the kick later, okay? And we'll probably do some processing as well. We'll see now, okay? So let's hear the kick, okay? So I want to design a sub bass. I'm going to show you a technique that I learned from Lakesh. I don't know if you know Lakesh, but he's a very good producer. And actually, always have a reference track nearby, ready, okay? I'm gonna use Lakesh track. Why not? Put it around minus 6 dBs because you need to keep in mind this track has been mastered, okay? How do I check if the level of the track is similar to my track? I put a low pass, okay? I just hear the attack of the kick, okay? It's very similar in terms of loudness. So I'll just turn this off, remove that. Okay, let's turn off the reference track. Reference track, you should always have a reference track for you to check how the mix is sounding related to some tracks you know that perform well on the dance floor, okay? So let's design our sub bass. Okay, I already have a chain here. Don't be scared by it, okay? I'm just gonna turn off everything and I'll explain everything. So, I'm actually just going to put the audio here instead of audio from. Let me just remove that. Okay, let's hear the sub. Very weird noise, right? Very weird noise, but stay with me. Okay, let's just put a low pass on it. Already sounds much better, right? I like to use Corpus because it gives very interesting harmonics, and you can use this internal LFO to create movement on the sub bass, okay? And this creates that what you are hearing, okay? So if we look at the frequency, the LFO is doing the job, okay? But I might wanna change. So let me just try out some rhythms. Here I'm putting up a utility. I low pass, by the way, I low pass at 120 because more than 120 Hertz makes no sense for me for the sub bass, okay? I put a utility and a shaper. I'm gonna explain what the shaper does, okay? The shaper is a very nice tool that you can use. You can map to everything, whatever you want. You can select the grid, etc. I won't get into too much details about it, what it does, but eventually this is making a duck for the kick. Why am I not using a glue compressor though? Why? Because I don't like compressing sidechain. The typical sidechain creates a lot of harmonics, which sometimes can be bad for the track, bad for the sub. So I just prefer, I think it sounds better just to duck it with an utility, duck manually the audio volume of the sub bass, okay? So this way we can hear it, okay? It's removing audio. Let's hear it with the kick. Okay, I'm gonna check the mix. For example, without the shaper, see, it's just the kick is more muffled. This gives room for the kick, okay? For example, if we listen to our reference track, I'm going to warp. Just put it maybe here. He has a lot of movement here, right? He has like he probably has some toms. He might have some reverb on the low end, some subtle reverb, but in this case I'm just happy with the way it's sounding. Let me just hear it again. Let me just try out some different rates on the LFO. Wait, one thing. Let me just reverse this. Check with the monitors. I'm gonna turn off the mic. Okay, I'm liking how it sounds. I always check the monitors. I'm not mixing with the monitors at the moment because I'm streaming and you'll pick up the sound of the on the mic and it gets all fucked up. So we have our bass layer basically for the track. Okay, I like how it sounds. I might add a little bit of reverb. I'll see how it sounds and I'll see how it sounds later. Guys, one thing I think increases your game by a lot is just organize. Okay. Color scheme, everything, it's important. I like to put my low end as black, okay, my leads as red, so forth. You can see my atmos and textures white, etc. Just color scheme, make everything organized. I like to put everything from importance from left to right. It really helps me just get on it, you know. Okay, let's go to the fun part, which is just figuring out a lead, right? So I'll explain why all the faders are down in a second, but for now let's listen to a lead. I'm using a Behringer K-2 Mark II, okay? I'm gonna experiment a bit to see if I find a sound I like, okay? So I'm just gonna press play on G0. So currently I'm gonna use some jacks for patching, okay? Modulation. Okay, I like that. Guys, you wanna see a fun trick? If you don't think you have electricity in your body, just listen. Here's a jack, right? Let me see if you guys can see this. Yeah, you can see this. Look, this is the proof that we have electricity in our body, okay? Listen to the sound. Wait, wrong one. Okay, just bear with me. See? But let's stop with the autistic stuff. Hey, Bernardinho, make it. Okay, so we're just basically finding a sound. I like this sound already a lot. I think I'm just gonna keep it. Maybe add a bit of modulation to the. Let me just see. Nah. I'm already putting some delay and reverb to see how it sounds, okay? But then I will remove this, okay? I'll explain why. I will explain now why I'm going to remove this. This was just here for me to see how it sounds. I prefer to put everything FX related on return tracks, because then you can treat them as separate and mix certain resonance that you want to remove instead of just slapping the reverb on the track. It's easier to individually look at the reverb and look for resonance, certain frequencies that it doesn't sound right, okay? So what I'm gonna do, okay, I'm just gonna copy this delay plugin that I have. It's just a Replica XT, okay? Very nice plugin, because I like the way it sounds. Okay, I'm just gonna put it on tape. Let me just see how it sounds. I'm already detecting something I don't like. Okay, so we want this reverb to go through we want this delay to go through the reverb as well, okay? I'm actually gonna call this lead reverb, not global. We can also make a global reverb, so everything's well connected, okay? We'll see later how it goes. So we go here to the lead delay, we click right on the sends, okay? And we click enable all sends, or you can just enable the send that we want it to send, okay? And we're gonna send it to the lead reverb. Okay, let's listen. Let me just solo this. Let's check what happens. See? So now the delay is sending to the reverb, okay? Not everything, just like that. Okay. Just remove that. Okay, I think I'm already liking how this is sounding. But let's try something wacky, okay? Let's name this lead cuts. Audio from MIDI from, okay, this is a MIDI track, my bad. Okay, I'm going to record some samples of the lead to see if I get some interesting sounds by sweeping the filters. Okay, I'm already liking the sound quite a bit, but if we tangle with the filters a bit, just with the knobs, we might find some interesting sounds, some interesting harmonics. We can also do it with auto filter. I'm going to show you both ways. Okay, so we'll turn off the monitor so it's not so we don't hear it on this track. So it's because if we put it on in, we'll hear it doubled, auto as well. Okay, so we'll leave it off. Okay. Audio from oh, this is already okay, never mind. Audio from K2 lead. Okay, let's record just some interesting stuff. Okay, we have some interesting sounds there. We'll just name it manual filtering, I guess, and this will be lead cuts. Okay, so let's record that again, but this time I'm just check how it sounds with F0. Okay, I like that. Okay, let me just manual G0, and we'll record a manual F0 as well. That's some crazy shit right there. Just remove this a bit. Okay, like that. Okay. Okay, we have some interesting sounds. Let's just keep going for the... we don't have much time. Okay, let's call these manual cuts, actually. And I'll duplicate this. Call this auto filter. Just to demonstrate you, we can do the same without having any analog synth, okay? So we'll just put audio from... okay, it's already in, okay? So let's arm this. And instead of using the manual knobs, we'll just slap on a auto filter. Okay. Let's do some crazy shit. Okay, I like that. Okay, let's record. Is G0 first, I guess. Not getting the same sound. Let's go. You can also make... let's stop that. That was the first out of... yeah, okay, let me just... okay. Let's do something interesting actually. Just use one auto filter. We'll put it on bandpass with 24. Okay. I just like this is the type of filter we're applying, the MS2, which is also the type of filter the K2 resembles. Okay, just give it a little bit of drive, so give it a little bit of color. And now we're gonna just make the filter move itself being synced. Okay, so we just go here, mode, synced. We just put on some interesting rate and see what happens. Okay. Okay, this is a bit low. Oh, okay, I like that one. Oof. Nasty. I like that one. Okay, let me just hear it. Okay, I like this one. We'll name it lead one, I guess, for now. Okay, so we can do it in very different ways. Let's just hear how it sounds with F0. Oh, wait, this was F0? Wait. Oh wait, never mind. Okay, this was... Okay, yeah. Let's record some F0 ones as well. Just naming everything so we know, okay? Like that. Okay. I like it. Okay. So we just make it on two different notes. We might just use that as a call and response kind of thing. Okay. So let's hear everything. Let's turn this off. Let's go make some atmosphere, okay? I'm gonna use pigments. You can use wavetable, operator, Foley, whatever. And I'm actually going to, speaking of Foley, I'm going in sample mode. Okay? Just gonna pick out some sample. Field recordings. Okay, like this. Wind. Let's just hear it. We do not want this low end information. But we don't want it like this. Okay, we want it granular. Less density. Okay, that's interesting. I like, there's a little click there I like, so I'm going to just put a little filter on it. What do I want? Something like this. With less gain. Actually going to make a function. You can make this with the shaper as well. I'm just gonna, this is what relates. Just put a LFO on it. Free running. Let's make it synced. 8 bars, sure. Let's make some internal effects here. Let's just put some delay. And we want heavy reverb, fully 100% wet, okay? Really big reverb. As stereo as we can get, okay? Just high passing the reverb at around 300. Let me just check with the railway. Yeah, about 90 to 100. We just want this to glue everything together, okay? It's kind of that background noise, just creating an atmosphere, just creating a place. But it's very static, so we'll just put on some filtering. I'm actually going to use a special tool I have here, which is a Slink filter created by Hypnos, which is a label. So this is basically a filter, okay, with some modulation. You can make these with auto filters, EQs, whatever you want, okay. So we'll make this just here, okay. Okay. We want this longer. Okay. All right. I like this. Okay, let's hear with in contest. Maybe this will a little bit lower. I'm just checking. I have here in my main bus, okay, some EQ presets I have, which is basically for the headphones I'm hearing, so to make them as neutral as possible. You can just look for the EQ parameters of the specific phones you're using online, probably. Just checking the level of the sub, basically. Kicks a bit too loud. Just a slight, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna create some textures. I have a FX chain here that I already created. I usually use this because I like it, like the way it sounds. I just have a reverb with some fully wet 4 seconds decay, okay, with a saturator. If you use the saturator and press on this little arrow, okay, wait, let me just check. Okay, saturator, okay, yeah, you press on this little arrow, okay? And then you can do some wacky shit here. And you can wave shape and and then you can change the parameters of the wave shaping, okay? However you see fit. You can also give it some color. Like I'll show it to you what it does. Okay. Oof. I like this. Okay. But I don't like this. So let's actually just duplicate this and already make. I could do this in two different ways, okay? I can duplicate the track, or I can just put an audio effect track on it, okay? And just make this, okay? Let's turn this off. I can either duplicate the track or just use an audio effect track. Just go here, okay? We'll create another chain, which is our dry, I guess. Just scroll it. Predator. It sounds like a fucking alien. We'll call it alien. Predator alien. Alright. But I'm actually going to use this in separate tracks, okay? I'll call this Predator. Lead F1. I'll just leave this here as well. We might want to use it. Okay, let's call this Predator, which is going to be our call. Okay. Oh wait, fucked up. Wait, just go back. Okay, just copy this. Put here. This will be all alien. Predator. Simulate a little bit of a hunt, okay? Just control save, you never know. Okay, for now I'm going to use this. So we already have some more variations for the leads. We can make some interesting things. I'll probably just have a little bit of a call and response. So let's mix in the Atmo, shall we? Always start from minus infinity to the place where you feel it's right there, okay? I want these elements to sit in the back of the track, okay? So I don't want it to be too loud, but also not too low. Just give a little bit of movement. And I'm just gonna send this to the different track I created, to the FX texture. Let's see how it sounds. Just creating these movements. I added saturated. I also high passed it to 1K. Put some auto pans to give some movement. One rated to 1, so it's easy to set the timing of the track. Okay, and another one just 3/4, just to a little bit of polyrhythmic action, a little bit of saturation with an overdrive, and just an auto filter. I can use it for arrangement purposes, but in this case, it's also using an LFO, but I want it synced. Let's make it 8. If we want to make it longer LFO, we can just put an LFO here, 70-80% probably, I'm guessing, or 95 or something like that. Just sync it as well, but here the LFO rate is much longer. We can make it 16, 32, okay? So I'll just map this to the frequency, and it's a way slower LFO, okay? But I want this to have more movement, so I'll stay with the internal LFO, okay? Just add a bit. Just a little bit of drive. Actually, I'm gonna give this some drive. Okay, so it creates some textures for the track, very eerie textures to fill out the space for the lead. And here it is, the auto pen is screening some movement for our track, which is nice. Okay, this is already sounding like music for me, so I literally can make a track with only this, but let's add some percussion for some energy. I'm not sure what type of percussion I want, but I'm pretty sure I want a 16th Berg, so let's try some closed hats and see how it sounds, okay? If we want to create a different groove, we can just come here, okay, select the close hats and just randomize, okay, click randomize, get some different grooves. Yeah, I like this one because this groove has a higher velocity on the first one, which makes it easier to know where the one is of the track, okay? I have some reverb, very short reverb, very early reflections, okay, on the hybrid reverb. I like these settings for perk reverb because it has a very short decay. I put on 100% blend on the convolution, okay? And just make it more stereo. I like the way this reverb sounds, but I don't particularly like the way this. Let me just turn off the reverb. Just reduce the decay. We can use the decay for arrangement purposes, okay? We can use the decay to create tension. For example, we're coming to a place on the arrangement where we want to add another element. We just increase the decay, creates some tension, okay? You can hear the difference. Let's start with 300 milliseconds for now on the decay. I just put the 909 core kit here and just selected the closest hi-hats, okay? Standard on Ableton. Let me just switch the frequency a bit. some ring modulation. Okay, like that. I'm gonna actually add some, either an amp or an overdrive. Sorry about that. Just to give it a bit more metallic sound to it, okay? I can maybe use overdrive. Maybe overdrive is better. Let me just check. Send the words to the texture we have, Let's just check how this track sounds with the offbeat hi-hat. Let's just check. Actually like it, so I'll just skip it. Check if I should have done this before. I think I have some here. Okay, low reverb, not that. Fuck. Just remove the info. Just a little bit of reverb. Okay, this maybe add a little bit of sounds. I like rim shots. right. Rim shot. Okay, so we want this rim shot to be heavy with reverb. So with a very long tail reverb, so we'll probably just send it to the same reverb as the lead. Let me just check how the equalization of this is. Okay, perfect. Everything cool. Let me just remove the information. Just wanna fully send it to the lead reverb. Okay, but we're not going to abuse this rim shot because it gets over repetitive. We're just gonna probably make it like 4 bars maybe. Let me just check how it's sounding. Fuck me. Okay, I put it off beat, right? I think. Okay, I like it. Now you're wondering, there's some return tracks I'm not using. I'm going to use those return tracks for arrangement purposes, okay? And we're probably going to create more arrangement tracks, and we might even add more elements, but for now, I'm happy with it. So I'm just going to move. I actually want this more pronounced. I'm just going to put an amp on it. I'm just gonna put an amp on it to give it that metallic taste, okay? What the fuck? Amp. Make dual. Don't forget to make a dual, especially if your intention is to just make atmosphere, okay? Too high. Let's check in with the mix. Still make a lot more on the high end. We can make a. Let's leave it space for now and think about that later. Okay, let's just hop straight into arrangements, which is my Achilles tendon, I guess. I'm just the king of the loops. Let's start making the track. Plain and simple. I want it just to start with a kick and sub. Okay. Okay, I'm just gonna. We'll make this track about 6 minutes. Just Control J to consolidate everything, okay? And then I'll remove stuff, the drops, whatever, maybe make some variations on the kick. But for now, please hold. Ping, ping, ping. I need an elevator music for consolidation purposes. Okay. Okay, let's do the same thing with the kick. So we just we have a full audio track. I prefer it at least. Okay, thought process on making arrangements. There's a couple of ways. I'm going to show you 2 ways I like to make my arrangements. Okay, I can already fidget a bit with this and see what I can do with it in terms of what is the track asking me to do it. How does the track wants to be introduced, right? Like listening this on the dance floor, listening this with the headphone. How would I like it to be introduced? I already have a feeling that I wanted to start with just the lead, very deep, make some space for transition, no DJ sets, whatever. Okay. Before doing that, we're just going to right click on the sub, okay, and we're going to bounce it in place, bounce track in place, okay. And this is just going to convert the track through the things it's going through, so the processing, okay. Okay. So we have the sub bounced. And like we know, we can see that the sub is giving space to the kick, okay? Let me just check one thing at the beginning of the track. Yeah, let's just cut the first bar and just drag the sub here. Just make big, okay. So this is the utility for us, so we cannot see. I probably should have duplicated the track if in case I wanted to mangle a bit with the sub, but it's okay. So we already know, having a feeling how we want. Let's go get the Predator. I just want to start very simple, okay? So I'm just gonna press and put it here. This is 8 bars, okay? Lead 8 bars. Let's just rename this, okay? Lead 8 bars, so we know. Let's give it some more gain, okay? It's already enough, I think. Yeah, okay. It's enough. Let's just duplicate this to the end of time. We're not going to consolidate this. I'll explain why later, okay? So I'm just at the beginning of the track. I don't want the lead, okay? I want the lead to come in very slowly. But it's not enough for it to be presented slowly in the first 8 bars. We also want the higher frequencies to be tamed, okay? In terms of how psychoacoustics works and the human ear, we tend to associate higher frequencies to closer things and bassier frequencies, lower frequencies to things that are further away. Okay, so we're going to try and mimic that. We're going to take advantage of that, and we're going to just present it with very low frequencies to give the feeling to the listener that something's approaching. Okay, so we're just going to actually manually make this filter. I'm just going to actually map it. MIDI. Okay. I cannot map this to the synthesizer. I needed some MIDI. Never mind. I'm not gonna map this. But in case if you have a MIDI controller, which I actually have here, but I'm not going to use it, you can just press here on top right corner. I don't know if you see it because of the camera, but you click on MIDI, you can just select wherever you want, and for example, and you just press. Okay. For example, you can also do it with your keyboard. If you press it here, for example, let me say I wanted to turn on this auto filter. I'll just put A, okay? Key A, as you can see here, okay? So if I turn off the keyboard here, which is the MIDI, as you can see, I'm pressing A, and the auto filter is going on and off, okay? But for now, let's just remove that. Backspace on that motherfucker, okay. Okay, so we'll let it be very low passed at around here. Come on, maybe 500, maybe. Let me just check. Let's make this by levels, okay? First level, second level, whatever. We still wanted to keep it very minimal here. Okay, let's actually just save this as a different folder, okay? Not a different folder, different name. I like to do this to separate the things, okay? So this is arrangement. So in the arrangement, I'm already going to remove this. Actually, let me just check what this is. Okay, this is some manual stuff that I can use for textures. I'm not going to actually delete this. So I'm just going to take this, name this possible FX or something like that. Okay, I'll go grab it later. Just put it here for now. Okay, so back to our track. Not you. Okay, where do I want to introduce the Atmo? I think I want to introduce the Atmo at around 16 bars, very slowly as well. It's going to be a very progressive track, I can feel it, very minimal, which was the intent from the start, okay? So I'm just going to start, one tip I can give you is just add locators, okay? Just adding locators makes your job a lot easier. So I'm just going to press here and just say Atmo starts here. I'm just going to say that the filter starts to open on the Atmo. Filter opens. Okay. So I think at around 65 hertz, 49 bars maybe, I start introducing closed hats very slowly. I do a little bit of a break here maybe, and add 1/4 hat. Okay, give some energy for the break. Maybe the break here, 113, why not? And let's make the drop here. Okay, so let's just work on that. And I want this track to have a second peak of intensity, so I kind of want to release the tension here. Okay, so release of tension. Let me just release of tension. And I want more energy here. Energy, so probably the hi-hat entering. And let's say the track will end at around 209, 206, 205, something like that. And so I'll just start removing energy around here. Maybe here. Fades. So this is just a rough sketch, so we can just look at the track with the elements we have. Just think, okay, how listening to the elements of the track, okay, I know what I want to do, so what's the best way of getting there? Okay, so let's start doing it. Okay, so I'm just gonna put an auto filter on this already because I know that I'm going to use it. Probably no. Yeah, because it is starting here. It should work now. Let's just say I add another layer of actually want this auto filter to have an LFO. Okay, we'll sync it to the track and make it 8 and just maybe 10% more resonance just check that if, in case you don't know, if you put this on the auto filter envelope, it just the filter is just going to follow the envelope of the sound itself. Okay. So every time the filter opens, I'm sorry, every time the synth plays, this is going to follow its envelope, and the filter is going to open. Okay. So it can create some interesting harmonics. So let me just check how it sounds. Okay. So let's start to think how we're going to introduce this alien layer. Like if you want to make it as a response, let me just check. Okay. Just check one thing, because I think I did not loop this. Yeah, I did not choose the actual sound that I wanted to use here, so I'm just probably the first one. The first one sounding good. I think I want to make this kind of a call and response, because I don't think they're fitting that well together on top of each other. But I don't want this to be on the offbeat on the. Just check how it sounds. Yeah, not really sounding. Okay, I like that actually. Let me just check that. Sure. Okay. But we are not going to introduce these. Wait, let me just make these like 8 bars. Consolidates. I'm gonna call these alien 8 bars. We can then change the way they are call and response, kind of. Actually, they don't sound that bad together, now that I really listen to it. I just want to check one thing here, because I didn't think I looped the sound that I wanted. Okay, let's just keep it like that. It adds a little bit of variety. Fuck. Fuck. So let me just consolidate the 8 bars. Okay, let me just remove that. Okay. Fuck. Okay, that is annoying, but we'll just do this. Okay, delete automation, redo it. Okay, let's make the sound come slower again. If that doesn't pop off, it's because you have the automations turned on. Okay, you just turn it off and just make the sound come slower. Okay, and let's automate this as well. So we'll make it 300 here. We'll make it 1K here. Fully open it for the break, small break here. I'm just gonna make a very small break of 1 kick or 2. Actually make something interesting here. Fucked up there. Okay, start hearing. When we want our close habits, we'll put it around here. So let's go grab our hats. The Atmo is a bit loud. Let me just reduce it a bit. One quick tip I can give you is always make your mixing. Let me just never make volume automations with this. Okay, never make volume automations with your mixer here, because this is the place where you should. Okay, at the top of the highest point of my track with everything on max, is it sounding okay? Because you don't want to fuck it up those settings when you go into the arrangement. If you want to make gain arrangements, use it with the utility. It's much better, okay? So you don't lose that that settings you have on the mixing, okay? So I think just listening to the loop, everything for now, because then I need to check with my monitors. I always prefer to check with my monitors the mixing levels, okay? I'm just using headphones for streaming purposes. And then I'm gonna check again the levels, and then when I finish the arrangements, I'm going to export everything as stems and do the mixing as well, okay? So let's focus on the arrangements. So I want the hats to come. Let me actually open. I want the close hats to come a little smoother. So wait, fuck, my bad. All this time I was using the EQ parameters from my headphones. So you were listening differently to the mix that I was listening. Okay, but let's remove this for streaming purposes. Yeah, that one's very high. But again, my headphones are very high frequency response. Its response, it's naturally high, so I need to compensate for that. So this volume is probably okay. So I will just want the slow auto filter, okay? The low pass. So I'm actually just going to record. I'm actually just going to record the automation, and you can press here. You can just read what it does. It's the automation arm. When enabled, minor parameter changes, blah, 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 can record the 2 session clips. Okay, so I just hit record. Wait, no, actually, just I want to start here. Manually recorded the automation, so it has more that human touch. Okay, so I'm liking how it's sounding. We need to decide when the response is coming. I'm feeling at around 81. I'm just gonna turn this off. If you, in case you don't know, you just press 0 on audio track and you can turn it on and off. I'll just leave it there for because I want to. I think we did it like this. I'm not instead of this, I'm gonna do it like this. Okay. After we'll do some modulations here, okay? So it's not that boring, okay? Because for now it's just a fucking loop. We need to make things more interesting for the fucking viewer, okay? For the fucking listener. So okay, actually I'm going to introduce this lead a bit later. Maybe here. No, I need it sooner. 81. So like that. And we are actually going to make a little bit of a switcheroo. Okay, so let's just consolidate that. Just gonna alternate between the response and call. Okay, we're just gonna filter out the. We're just gonna record the. So let me just make sure nothing's armed. Okay. when you hit record, make sure nothing is armed, because if you have a MIDI clip that is armed or an audio track, it's just going to override everything, okay? So if in case I had something armed, okay, it would probably override, okay? So just remove everything when you want to record automations. So I want to record a filter automation now, so I'm just going to press record here. But not here, I wanted here. I wanted to start. I don't know why it started there. Just go to this. I'm just going to I didn't like that recording at all. Let me just turn this off for now, because this is the place I want the call to start enter, okay? Just gonna put the response to our lead. Our lead is just fucking calling for something, and this is going to give it the response, but I want the response to come in smoother, like something is approaching, like we mentioned earlier. So I'm just move that, make it come slower, very slow. Just see how it sounds. I'm going to probably play with filters around here and probably add some more details later. That comes later, okay? Okay, let me just go back here, press record. So I think that will sound okay. Let me just check. Like I said, I'm just going to map. We need to record this automation. effect is clipping a bit, so I'm just gonna put a glue compressor on it. Fast attack, so it changes at the end. I'll later check the level. Okay, I like this. I like the way it drops, but we need to remove more tension, so we're probably just going to filter here the Atmo. So on the drop, we're just going to make a very sudden decrease. Okay, I'm just going to remove. Just see how it sounds. The Atmo is not playing for some reason. Why? Why are you not playing? You are playing actually. You just have no information here. So I cannot make it that sharp. Not that sharp. Let me just check. Okay, I like this. So let's actually just make it a drop and remove the kick. Okay. Actually, I'm just going to consolidate that. You can also Control E to separate. And I'm going to make a drop like this. I'm just going to actually let me just control. Okay, so I'm gonna Control E here to separate this. Okay, just remove this a bit, maybe like this. Let me check. Playing pressure. Okay. Oh, that's why this is fucked, because it was playing. That's why it was clipping, because it was playing at the same time. We want it like this, right? actually not liking that much the response. I don't know, maybe it's the timing. There's some weird timing. Okay. 2.3, okay. And this needs to do this on the drop, so we're just going to introduce it on very low frequencies. Oh! Music is this experimentation, just experimentate and you'll probably find something interesting. So I see there's some interesting variations here I can make with this, so I just can maybe automate it a bit. And I'm actually going to make the automation here. I'll explain later, probably. Just grab that. Okay. Oh, my bad. This is not what I want to do. Now let's make it in the arrangement view. Actually, I can use that to create some tension maybe. Let's just press it here on the break, press recording. Okay, we can redo that because I didn't quite like how that turned out. We can always redo it later. Okay. How do I want this second peak to come? I want this second peak to come full blasting. Okay, just no mercy whatsoever to the listener. Okay. So just gonna grab some close hats. And perfect. This is perfect because I wanted to fade there. Wait 1 sec. Let me just okay. sounding like a track. It still needs some work on some moments, obviously. It's still a bit empty. I still want to use the rim shots. I don't know where. I think I'm just gonna... Using the same principle we used in the beginning of the track, where I talked about psychoacoustics and how the human perception of sounds, when things are near us, we tend to hear higher frequencies, and when they are away from us, we tend to hear lower frequencies, which is going to make it appear that something's walking away, which is going to start moving the frequencies, okay? What would you prefer to see in the next episode? Me finishing this track, because this track is basically finished. It needs a bit of details in some places, but the general sketch is made. It's very easy to finish this track and then to export it for mixing, because as I said, in the end we're going to export the track, export it in stems, and then make the track ready for mastering. Okay, if you would prefer next episode to because we're going to make this a regular stream, okay, like I said at the beginning, every Thursday at 21 Western time, Portugal time, okay, I think it's WET time. So next episode, either we're going to finish this track or start a whole new track, and I can show you different approaches, different arrangements, different loop techniques, just let me know. Let me know what you prefer, and thank you for watching. Okay.